On this historic day here in Western New York, whether you're an art lover or just someone who believes in the future of this region, today's ribbon cutting here at the Buffalo AKG Art Museum is, to put it mildly, a big deal. You've probably heard the dollar figure by now, $230 million. That's how much has been poured into this site as we show you the picture from high above using our drone. That money is, of course, being used to renovate the existing spaces that we've all come to know and love, and then to build the Gunlock building that is behind me here. The additional space means they'll be able to triple the number of pieces of art from the permanent collection that will be on display. And there is so much more than that when it comes to this overall project. I talked about it all with Janne Sirén. He is the director of the museum here. He's really been here since the start of all of this, dating back to 2015 when the museum's board of directors voted unanimously to move forward with this major expansion. He is a Helsinki, Finland native, and he is now celebrating a decade here in Buffalo. Happy 10-year anniversary. What a way to celebrate it.
Thank you so much.
So we talked in 2016 when Mr. Gunlock announced this massive donation to really transform this entire campus. I guess just how relieved are you and excited are you that here we are?
Of course, it's a moment of joy, and it's really a moment of joy not just for everyone who works here at the Buffalo AKG Art Museum, but for our entire community. It's a historic moment for the 6th oldest art museum in America to finally have a stadium on which its world-renowned collection can shine and radiate and serve our community. That's what this project has been all about, being a community partner and opening the museum to visitors from near and far in a welcoming, hospitable way, to create a museum where everyone can say, I feel at home, this is my place, and not an intimidating place where you kind of feel like, well, do I really belong here, and I don't know much about contemporary art. This museum has been now designed to really move people in a way that makes them feel at home. Think of it as your living room.
It seems like space was such a constraint for you before. How transformational is this addition?
Totally transformational. So if you consider the fact that previously we were able to show about 100 to maximum 150 works from the collection at any given time, and now we have 430 works from the collection on view. That's a remarkable transformation. I mean, there was a moment when I had a Monet painting on my office wall and I did not request it, and that was because it was better there than in a storage facility. And now we are able to share both audience favorites like the Mirrored Room, new acquisitions. We've acquired more than 500 works during the period of construction. So there's just a lot of things for people to see. Old favorites, new favorites, hopefully, and lots of public spaces, including a third of the campus being free of admission charges. So you can just slip in for 30 seconds, and if you want to stay longer, you can.
What is your message to Western New Yorkers who maybe visited the museum a couple times in the past, but weren't regular visitors and who live right here in Western New York? How do you convince them this is a place you got to come and see now?
Consider it a place where your imagination can soar, where your children, your friends, your parents can feel the magic of a truly exceptional house of treasures, where we will work with you to find sources of inspiration, where your creativity can flow. I've worked closely with all the construction crews that have built this museum. I know many of them by name, and it's interesting how they are starting to feel the excitement of the art going on the walls. Not all members of the construction crews are necessarily museum goers, but they feel the excitement. I see the glitter in their eyes, the pride that they have put into their work as they have constructed this extremely complicated new facility.
Yeah, tell me about the new facility. What are you most excited about?
The fact that the museum now moves you around like a dancer on a dance floor. So if you consider how we were previously, a very minimalist entrance, you would enter, there was a front desk, somebody would ask you, are you a member or not? Now we have 4 entrances to the museum, and as you turn a corner, there's a new architectural wonder awaiting for you. So even if you're not looking at the art, just the vistas that you will have from the new Gunlock building towards Delaware Park are awe-inspiring in themselves. The bridge that connects the Wilmers building, this neoclassical building, to the new Gunlock building, I mean, that bridge is pure magic. When you walk through it, you feel like you are inside of an artwork. The same holds true for the Knox building. You walk into it, and there's Olafur Eliasson's and Sebastian Behmann's Common Sky that forms a canopy over that formerly open-air sculpture courtyard that would be covered by 3 feet of snow in the past. Now you can come there and have a picnic any time of the year, and there are no admission fees for the Knox building. So it's really easy to come there, enjoy a cup of coffee, have lunch, or just even take a shortcut through Elmwood Avenue across the museum to Lincoln Parkway.
Many tens of millions of dollars have gone into this project. Beyond transforming this as a museum, it seems to be transformational to this part of Buffalo and to the region economically.
Absolutely. So if you consider the fact that 10 years ago, we were a staff of 62 people, full-time staff, and then an annual operating budget of 6.7 million. When we opened, we are 170 full-time staff, 17.5 million full-time staff. Of course, it's going to change the ecosystem of this part of Buffalo, but really of Western New York in general. The one-time economic impact of the construction project is something around $250 to $280 million. For New York State, for Erie County, and the city of Buffalo. The annual economic impact is around $45 to $50 million. Again, that's a significant return on investment if you consider that we have been generously supported by New York State, by Erie County, and the city of Buffalo. New York State being the most generous of those contributors with almost 50 million. So in 1 year, that investment will have paid itself back, and that investment will continue long into the future. So we thank all citizens of New York State for their generosity as our patrons, but we will make magic happen now as a location that everybody in this great state can be very proud of.
In 2016, when the major gift was announced by Mr. Gunlock,
Yes.
we knew that this was going to be big.
Yes.
I assume it's far exceeded your expectations?
It has. So architecture, especially when you are in a very delicate architectural environment, is an iterative process. When we launched the capital campaign in June of 2016 and raised $100 million over that summer over a period of 11 weeks, we thought in September that we were done. But that's when the design process really began, and 2 years later, we had an entirely different vision of what we would be building than we did back in September of 2016. A better vision, a more refined vision, a vision that is more befitting of this community, but also a more expensive vision. So Jillian Jones, myself, and many, many other people had to go back on the fundraising train, and we worked hard, and without the generous support, again, of Jeffrey Gunlock, who added more than 20 million to his original gift of 42.5 million, and hundreds of other donors, we could never have done this. Consider this, we have 72 donors who have each contributed more than $100,000 each to this project from Europe. Out of those 72 donors, only 4 have ever been to Buffalo, and they have believed in this project.
You anticipate a lot of people from all over the world are going to be coming to check this out.
We do. My only apology before it has even happened is the traffic jams and the parking crisis that I predict might be upon us, because while we have a state-of-the-art underground parking facility, if some of the more optimistic predictions hold true, this could be an issue, but it's a good problem to have. For Buffalo, it's a good problem to have if we have people coming from around the world who are wanting to visit our region, our city, leave tax dollars and spent dollars behind. I mean, this is something that we should be proud of and be happy about. We want people in Buffalo. We do not want to see the exodus of our young from Buffalo. We want people to move here.
Thank you so much. Pleasure to talk to you about
much.
this. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
And one of the most significant changes, I keep pointing this out, actually has nothing to do with the architecture, the buildings, or even the art. It has to do with the price. The Knox building, which dates back to the 1960s, it's on the right side of your screen right now in this aerial map. It will be free from now on out. That will include the Ralph C. Wilson Jr. Town Square. It creates an open pathway really from the Elmwood Avenue side of the museum over toward Hoyt Lake. Free events will also take place on the Great Lawn now that parking has been moved underneath.